So what is a life of consequence?
Oh, gosh.
This whole campaign thing?
A life of consequence is a really interesting thing.
I didn't know what it meant.
I was part of the committee that designed that statement, and I remember we spent a lot of time thinking about what we wanted for our graduates.
I don't see it as necessarily the grand lives of consequence with a capital C and L, capital L. I think it can mean something more modest.
I think you could live a life of consequence in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different places. And I think Amherst alums prove that. They're all over the world in many different fields doing all kinds of things. I have classmates who I'm sure are going to be Rhodes Scholars and brilliant scientists and incredible writers.
So my life of consequence is actually developing a true relationship with students that will influence how they act in the world. They will. I'm convinced of it. I know that they change because of the teaching they experience here.
It's managing to do something that will leave a mark, hopefully, and have tilted the balance maybe in some small way for the better.
For me, a life of consequence is a life in which an individual remains ethical, in which an individual applies what they've learned about how to think at Amherst to everything they do.
One thing that my father always told me is he said, I don't care what line of work you go into, just make sure you're adding value in some way, shape, or form.
I guess to me a life of consequence is one where we realize that we've been given a lot. We've been given a lot of opportunities, a lot of different chances, and there's a responsibility that comes with those chances.
In trying to lead a life of consequence, you'll know at the end of your life, when looking back on your life, if you feel that you've accomplished something and you feel that you're satisfied with what you've done, and if you've contributed to the world, or maybe if you've only contributed to a couple of people, but if you've done something that's mattered to someone else, even if it's internal, then I think you've led a life of consequence.
A life of consequence is to be connected to what you do, to be engaged, to feel that what you do when you are doing it is probably the best thing you want to be doing. Of course, there are days when you can't always feel that, and I don't either. But if you've got that, then you've got a good life. You've got a life that matters.